How's it going, everybody? Today's Friday, and I have an over-under in my hands because we had so much, and I say so much, I need my over-under fix. I need my over-under fix. I'm losing my over-under fix. I'm gonna bring you an over-under, and guess what? I got a great over-under for you. I have Gator Trax in my hands. So much, can I say so much? Asking questions, comments about Gator Trax. Everybody wanted to know about the Strike Series. Well, we got a hold of them, they got a hold of me. You know how this went down? This was cool. Jordan and I are sitting there talking about it. I said, well, let's call Gator Trax. We had reached out to him, I think, once before. Not much contact. I call him, I get the secretary. Secretary says, yep, hold on, you gotta talk to Kent. All right, so I hold on, listen to some music. All of a sudden, Kent answers the phone. I'm talking to Kent. First thing I say, I said, yeah, hi, this is Andy from Team Marine Service. I do a YouTube. He stops me, he goes, I know you. I'm like, oh, this will be good. This could be bad, this could be good. Could be bad, could be good. He goes, yeah, you guys did the whole Solus thing with the 250 SS. He goes, you Scorpion prop. He goes, you made my life easier. That prop changed everything we did for that thing. I was like, thank you. It was great. It was a great conversation. So then we started talking. I said, I need to know about your boat. I need to know about your company. I need to know about Gator Trax, and I want to know about the Strike Series. He's like, no problem. What do you need to know? Here it is. So I just went into it a little bit with him about kind of build, ride, and everything. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through the numbers first for you right away. Then we're going to get to some other stuff. Are you ready? Here we go. So you can order your Strike Series boat. You can get just a boat. I think we've confirmed this. You can get just the boat. Like aluminum looking. It starts at $25,993. $25,000 for the boat. That's what you get. So you get the starting price at $25,993. Okay? Mercury only. Couldn't get Yamahas, right, Jordan? Couldn't get Yamaha. We came back with a Merc. I think you can get a Yami. You probably can. He did it with a Merc, which is fine. So we did it with the Merc. Merc pricing's on there. Then we did everything else normal that we usually do. So we're keeping it the same on the build. So it's a 20-foot boat. We're keeping it the same. 250 outboard. We're keeping all that the same. So we're doing the bass boat thing now with this bass boat, and we're gonna get to that. And I said bass boat. Minn Kota 36 was on there for $2,900. The Hummingbird 10 Helix times 2. I talked to him about that, putting 2 on. He goes, yeah, we can do whatever you want. Times 2, $4,200 for both of them. The 12 megas, I said, can we do 2 up there? He said, yeah, we can do 2. So yeah, we put 2. You can do 2. He said, we can do whatever you want. We're gonna build the boat as we go. We can do whatever you want. So we did that. So 2 of them, $2,400. You got $4,900, and then underneath that, 360 imaging. So you got about $1,200 into that. You got your blades, power pole blades, 8s on the back, same pricing. What do we got? $44.98 for that. We talked about the brackets. He said were included, which was pretty nice. There's no price on brackets because I think they build them custom to the boat. So you're not getting the brackets, you're getting custom to the boat. We talked about LED lights were included. We have LED deck lights that we did on the other boats that came in on the spreadsheet, $342. So the whole boat's essentially lit up. We did live well lights. Live well lights are in there for $40. So yeah, you can put live well lights in your aluminum boat. So we got live well lights in there for $40. You can see what I'm doing here. We're going down the bass boat world of building a boat, and now we're building it with aluminum. So keep that in mind here. Interstate batteries, like we did on the other ones, the 27s and the 31s. The 27 was 130. The 31s, 3 of them ended up being $510. The power pole charge, we can drop that in there for $13.50. Keel guard on the aluminum boat is available for $135. Rod straps are $60. And then we got boat cleats, 4 of them at $250. For the 4, come out to $250 at the end. Then at the bottom, you get the option for flooring. So what we did is we went to C-deck flooring for $4,000. So that's basically everything is C-decked. So like you see on the Gator Trax site, you go over there, you see them boats with that cut flooring. That's all C-deck flooring in there. That was $4,000. And then we had I guess what it looks like. Oh, paint and clear coat. So the boat, that price that we gave you up here at 25 is a hull. Okay, it's a hull, and then we get to build your own boat. So you get to build your boat off of the hull. So of course we want paint on the boat, so we got to get the paint job done and the clear coat, 30 or 2200, and then we got to get a trailer underneath that boat. So you got to put a trailer underneath it for 5200. So you basically can call down there if you got a trailer laying around. You can call down there and get a boat. You got a motor laying around. You can call down there and get a boat, and you can put all your own stuff on. I don't think they'd have a problem with that, but of course, if they don't do the rigging, you got to understand it's probably like, nah, we don't do the rigging. We don't stand behind anything that we didn't do. So, and I can acknowledge that, because if I'm not putting those screws in, I'm not going to warranty something that you did underneath your tree at your house. Okay, we want to keep it in-house. So we ended up with a grand total, and this is correct at the bottom right here, down here, Jordan. This boom total, everything right down: trailer, paint, sea deck, all of our options, boat, trailer, motor, 250, ready to rock and roll. $83,000. $83,000 for everything. 20-footer, 250, ready to rock and roll, 2 units up front, 2 units at the console, sea decked everything, painted the color we want, trailer underneath, Merc on the back, trolling motor up front, batteries, everything, power poles, it's ready to go. $83,000. And you're gonna say, oh my God. Yeah, you might say, oh my God, until I get to this. Now we're gonna get to this, okay? This is the important stuff. This is Andy's cheat sheet from talking to Kent on the phone. So when I called Kent, you know where he was? He answered the phone. He was actually in the shop working on the boats, building the boats, working in the shop, building the boats. So I'm talking to an owner, and there's 3 of them. There's Kent, there's Al, and David. Kent's in working on the boats. I'm talking to him about his boats. He's asking guys to be quiet in the background, just like me. I'm in here working. I don't just do this. I work on these boats also. Kent's working on the boats out in the shop. I started talking to him. We had a great conversation. It was awesome. It was like I was talking to one of my guys in my shop. It was just so cool to talk to this guy. He talked a lot about how this thing started. This started in church. These 3 guys met in church. They ended up deciding to start building boats. They started building boats. They built their own boats. Then they went on and built some more. It went from like 20 boats to like 60 boats to like 80 boats to 120 boats a year, and then everybody quit their jobs and they started building boats. Okay, so now I start talking to him. I'm like, I call these things tin boats. I've said before, there's no such thing as an aluminum bass boat. I've said that, me right here. I've said that. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I said it wrong. There's one boat, one aluminum boat, and I'm calling it aluminum. I'm not even gonna call it tin. I'm gonna call it aluminum. It's gonna be a Gator Trax. Gator Trax builds a aluminum bass boat. I just said it. I'm not afraid to acknowledge if I'm wrong. I was wrong. There's one company that I will acknowledge in my life, take my hat off to and say, you build an aluminum bass boat. You wanna know why? He's telling me, and I believe him 100%, because if you look at some of the pros that are running these boats, they're not running just out there. They're competing. They're not doing 40 miles an hour. He told me tournament loaded, the 20-footer will do high 70s. High 70s. High 70s. They just did Keith Brochet's boat, I believe it was, and they're doing 80 in that thing. 80. That's not loaded, but that's running down the river. 80, running across the lake at 80. That's impressive. And I talked to him about that. I said, what goes on? What stands your boat out against the rest? Why is a Gator Trax boat coming with a lifetime warranty? And we talked about his lifetime warranty. That's a lifetime warranty. If a weld breaks, if something happens to what they built, it's not your problem as a consumer, it's his problem. And that's the words that came out of his mouth. As a customer, it's not your worry, it's his worry. You get the lifetime warranty. Lifetime warranty on an aluminum boat from front to back. Lifetime warranty on anything that they do. And I'm talking like, how can you do that with, you don't know how things are gonna go. He said, I'll put my mouth where your money is any day of the week. Huh? That's impressive. That's impressive. So we started talking about the boat. I said, what makes it? He goes, 3/16. It's gonna be a little heavy. It's 1,600 pounds. He talked about spider web bracing. They have what's called a spider web bracing system. I'm not gonna get into it because I don't wanna let his secrets out. I'm sure there's a lot of people that know about it. but that's just what he talked about. I'm not going to get into the details of it because that's his deal. That's their deal. That's what they do down there. They make quality equipment. So he talked about spiderweb bracing. He talked about they're putting a bass boat style pad in this boat. So they're actually taking a bass boat style pad, a glass boat pad, and putting it on an aluminum boat, which gives it its ride. He told me, he said, I guarantee you it'll be the driest, smoothest, quietest riding aluminum bass boat you'll ever ride in. And I believe him. I believe every word he said because he's extremely passionate about it. He's extremely passionate about building these boats. So I said, so if we're talking company now, how many employees you got? How many employees are working there? What's going on? You got 35 employees. 35 employees are there. And I'd like to say, when I call these companies, I talked to the secretary. She immediately put me through. She said, you need to talk to Kent. So she put me through to Kent, okay? So Kent and I had this conversation. I called back after I hung the phone up with Kent and I had this information. I got a different secretary and I asked her, I said, can I get Kent's email because I just want to send him a spreadsheet and so he can send it back to me. And she's like, yep, I'll make sure he gets it. I said, can you make sure he gets it today? And she goes, yes, sir, I'll make sure he gets it today. So a lot of times we get this, and Jordan and I go through weeks before we hear anything. I was on my way home. I left here. I got off the phone with Kent probably our time at probably 3:45. And I left here. I got home probably about 4:30 that day. I had the email on my phone by the time I got home. So that tells you what kind of secretaries this company has. And I guarantee you the trickle-down effect is the same at every level. Every one of these employees takes pride in what they do. They take pride in the paint. They take pride in what they're building. The secretaries take pride in who they are, the company that they have. To get this to an owner and say, you need to call this guy back, there's a spreadsheet there, him to take the time out of his day, fill it out, and send it back to us is impressive in general. And that's what we talk about, and that's what he talks about. He talks about putting his mouth where the money is. He talks about his integrity in the boat. He talks about passion. He talks about building the highest quality that he can build for the customer because you're spending that kind of money. I said, so what kind of numbers you do on that boat? He said he'll put out 20 of these boats a year. That's it, 20 of them Strike Series a year. Not a big numbers boat for him, but it's growing because it is such a bass boat. It is a performance boat. It's a performance aluminum bass boat. I never thought I'd say it altogether. Performance aluminum bass boat. He has built a performance aluminum bass boat. If you have not taken the time to go look at his site, if you have not taken the time to just go look at a Gator Trax boat, any of them, I think you should just stop what you're doing and move over there and click it in, Gator Trax, and take a look at what he's doing. We talked about timeline here. So he's going on, in May, they'll be in business for 20 years. So what do I think I got here? Yeah, around May, they're gonna be in, or is it February? I think it was February of this year, wasn't it, Jordan? I think it's February of this year. Yeah, February is 20 years. February 15th is 20 years. February 15th is 20 years of the company. So for 20 years, they've been building boats. I talked to him, let's get back to the Strike Series, because that's really all I wanted to talk about with him. The Strike Series boat is 9 years old, he told me. They had an idea of building the boat, and the partner wanted one, so they started building the boat. And it took them, in the last 3 years, so it took like 6 years, and then the last 3 years is the boat. That's what he was telling me. So the way I vision this thing is they built this thing, and for 6 years, they worked on development of this boat. 6 years of developing a boat to get it so it's the quietest, smoothest, driest, highest quality aluminum bass boat in the world. That's why I call it an aluminum bass boat, because of what he talked about. 6 years of development. He said they got to a point where they wanted every lid on the boat to open and close like a bass boat. Quiet. No ding, 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 ding when you're running down the river. Doesn't sound like a rattle box when you're running down the river. That's one of the most annoying things to me about these bass boats that are, or these other style bass boats, these tin boats that are running down the river. They just don't, they don't sound normal, they don't look normal, they just don't. And this thing is just like, it's like perfect. It's perfect. It's a perfect aluminum bass boat. It's perfect. It's quality. It's got research. It's got dry ride. It's got comfort. It's got fishability. It's got speed. It's got everything that you want when you're spending the kind of money. So when Jordan and I were looking at these, we kind of came in at that 60 to 80 mark, and I think we're still going to use that 60 to 80 mark. I know the one we did came out at 80 to 83,000 because we loaded that thing up, guys. I mean, that's what we're due. That's what we put 10,000 plus, don't we, Jordan, into this thing in accessories. We don't have to go to that, but we do that. We do it because it's like, all right, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the way I would want it. That's the way I'd want it. So we figured 60 to 80. And I mentioned that to Kent, and he's like, yeah, you're right about right. You're going to be in that 60 to 80 mark, depending what you put on the boat, depending how we build it. So I think in the end, we always talk about these smaller boat companies versus these bigger boat companies, and we talk about guys like Kent, and we talk about these guys that just have passion for building boats. And I know I keep talking about the passion part, but guys, if I'm buying a boat and I'm spending 60 to 80,000, I don't care if it's a Sea Ray, giant, huge thing. I don't care what it is. I want to know that the guys that produce this boat care, guys, men, women, everybody who's involved with it, care about this boat as much as I do when I pick it up. And these companies like Gator Trax that put the commitment into every inch of everything he talked about to me, those are the kind of companies that I would be spending my money with. Those are, because I called down there and I got a hold of a guy that was working in the shop with his employees side by side. And he's an owner of the company. That means a lot to me as an owner of my company, knowing I work side by side with my crew. I don't sit up there. I don't sit at home. I'm working with him. He's working with them. That means a lot because that means his vision, his passions being transferred into his employees. And when you, as an owner, show that to your employees, they want to work just as hard as you do, if not harder. That means a lot to me as a consumer. And like when I'm doing these over-unders, I'm looking at it as a consumer side and as a guy that works on things. So I got the two visions here because I've seen them all. I've been through them all, not all of them, but we've been around for so long that I've had my hands in so many of these boats and figured out that this is bad, this is terrible, why'd they do this? This should have been done differently. What engineer decided to do this? This guy did this with two other fellas and they created the greatest aluminum bass boat built. And I said it, aluminum bass boat. I didn't think I'd ever say it. Like I said at the beginning of this thing. I didn't think there was one. There is one. It's Gator Trax. You need to go look at these guys. So in the over-under thing, it's undervalued at $80,000. Once again, I'm gonna get backlash on it, but you have to understand, if I'm spending 80K, I'm gonna get quality, craftsmanship, and just complete customer service. Those things matter when you're spending money. Can't go buy a pickup truck and get that kind of service brand new, I guarantee it. I went through it with a brand. I bought a new vehicle. It went, took a while to get it back up and running. Brand new. I guarantee if I had a Gator Trax and I brought it home and I drove it and it cracked and I called Kent, he'd probably send a truck up to get it. I bet you he'd probably send somebody up here to get it. Like, yeah, I'll probably bring you a boat up where you can use while I figure out what went wrong with this one. I guarantee you something like that would happen because this guy really, truly cares about these boats that he's given, that he's selling to you people, that he's getting out the door. Right down to his smallest flat bottom, right up to his biggest boat, right to his center consoles. He said it's the best boat built, and I believe him. I believe him because of his passion, because of how he broke it down, talking to me. He talked to me a lot about other things, but in the end, it comes down to a lifetime warranty. Doesn't matter what happens for the lifetime of the boat. It's not your problem, it's his. Those are the words out of his mouth. If there's an issue, bring it back. It goes back to the employees of that company, goes back to the secretaries, goes back to getting our email in record time, our communication, our talk. That shows me that's a great company. It's undervalued, man. It's undervalued at $80,000 because of what happens, because of behind the scenes stuff that you don't get to see. So make sure you go out, you get yourself on the Gator Trax. Even if you don't go buy one, just go over there and look at that company. Go look at those boats. See what he's got. He got 80 miles an hour out of an aluminum bass boat. 80 miles an hour. That means you're going by a Ranger. That means you're going by anybody but a bullet, ballistic, gambler, and a Blazer, probably. And a Sterling, and a, I'll probably put Allison in there, but that's just a whole nother world for me. But you're competing with that in your aluminum bolt. That's badass. That is badass. And you're getting the ride, and you're gonna be dry. Go look at Gator Trax, trust me. Go look at Gator Trax, call down there, talk to them, go find a dealer. Just make sure you go take the time to look at Gator Trax. You guys wanted it, and I know why you wanted it. This company is gonna be here for a long, long, long time. Highest of quality, top-notch customer service, and great people. Gator Trax, I take my hat off to you, and I say thank you for being a quality, American-made company and giving a damn about a quality product at the end of the day. From all of us here at Team Marine Service, like always, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to witness the madness that I hope everybody at Gator Trax tomorrow morning or today will say, speed, money, and no brakes. I'm out.